Hi everyone, my name is Mahmoud Sheikh and from past few videos I have been working on making a video tutorial series on C programming language. In my last video, I completed the discussion on why C is termed as system programming language. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss about two of the simple topics, which is C is procedural programming language and C is also been termed as structured programming language. So these two topics we are going to discuss in today's video. So before starting today's video, I just want to tell you guys that if you guys like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and if you guys have any queries, then let me know in the comment section. So now let us start our discussion on this topic of C is a procedural programming language or procedural oriented language. A procedure is a function, method, routine, subroutine, etc. Okay, so we can call a procedure as a function, or it can be a method, or it can be a routine or subroutine. So what is a function? Whenever some set of instructions or lines of codes are combined together which are performing some specific task, then those set of instructions are termed as function, or we can call them as method, because those set of programming instructions are responsible to perform some specific task. Because that's why we used to call those set of instruction as function or method or routine or subroutine. And using C also we can write the instructions in the form of procedure, that means in the form of functions, methods, routines. Okay, so while writing any program, we might be thinking of developing different types of functionalities. So instead of writing down the code for each and every functionality line by line, what we can do is we can create different functions or different set of instructions to perform different types of tasks. Okay, so now each and every of that set is called as a function or a method, and we used C programming language to develop such functions or procedures or methods. Okay, now I hope you guys have understood. Now let us move on to the next point. It specifies a series of steps for the program to solve the problem. Okay, so these procedures specifies the series of steps. Like in each and every procedure or in each and every function, there will be some series of instructions will be written, and these set of instructions are written with an intention to solve a problem or to perform a task. Next is it breaks the program into functions. So when we have an approach of writing down the programs in the form of procedure, so just think about, we have a problem and we need to make a solution for that problem by writing down a program. So instead of writing down the solution for that problem line by line, it would be better if we divide that entire solution in the form of functions, in the form of methods. So in that case, it will be helpful for us to debug, it will be helpful for us to search specific function, and it will be useful for us to find out the errors in the program. Okay, so these are some of the points related to procedural programming language. Okay, so a procedural programming language offers a way to organize the instruction in the form of procedures or in the form of functions or modules, which will help the programmer to improve the readability, to identify the errors and debug the program. Okay, so this is everything about procedural programming language. Now we will move on to the next concept, which is structured programming language. So structured programming language is also somewhat similar to procedural programming language. Okay, so with the name itself, you guys might have understood where here in the case of structured programming language, we are trying to organize or we are trying to structure a few set of instructions or code together so that that particular set of instructions can perform a specific task. So now let us try to understand this concept with the help of each and every of these points. Now the first point is saying structured modular programming is basically a programming paradigm or an approach aimed to improve readability and quality of computer program by making use of subroutines or smaller modules. Okay, so this structured modular programming is a programming approach or a style, or it can be called as a paradigm, which has been aimed to improve the readability, okay, so that we can enhance the readability of any program. So whenever a person started reading out the code which were written in the form of structured manner, then obviously readability will get increases and the quality of the code also gets increases. Now the next point is structure means to break a program into parts or blocks so that it may be easy to understand. Okay, so now here they have mentioned the definition of structure. Okay, so what is the meaning of structure? Okay, suppose you have written 100 lines of code, and those 100 lines of code you have written for different tasks. Suppose you have written some set of instructions to add the student. Suppose you have written some set of some 10 to 15 lines of instructions to update the student. Suppose you have written some 15 to 20 lines of instructions to delete any specific student from the database. Okay, so now instead of writing down the code for each and every of these tasks in a single page line by line, what you can do is you can create a different function with a name as add student, and in that add student function you will keep only the code related to adding the student inside the database, and then you can create another function with the name edit student or update student, and in that function you need to put the code only related to editing the student details. Like this you can create one more function to delete the student, like delete student function, and in that function you can write down the code for deleting the student. So if you try to structure your code in the form of functions or in the form of blocks, then it will be easier for you or to anyone to understand your program. Okay, now the next point is C is called structured programming or modular programming language because while solving large and complex problems, C programming language divides the problem into smaller modules called functions. Okay, so now why this C is been called as structured or modular programming language? Because whenever you will be dealing with the large problems or complex problems, obviously you need to write down some n number of instructions. Okay, so when someone saw your program which has been written just line by line, then the readability will not get increased. Okay, so but if you try to write down your programs in the form of modules or in the form of functions, then for readers also it will be easier to understand your code. Okay, and it will be easier for you to debug and find out the errors in your program. Now the next point is it makes the program easier to understand and modify. Yes, okay, as I have told you that if you have a habit of writing down the program in the form of functions or in the form of procedures, then you can easily understand that program, and tomorrow whenever you want to make any changes in that program, you can easily do those changes. Now the next point is each of these functions has specific job. Okay, as I have told you. Okay, so you will be creating separate functions with an intention to perform individual task or specific job with each and every of those functions. An entire problem is solved by collecting such functions or smaller problems or smaller modules. Okay, an entire problem is solved by collecting such functions or smaller modules. Okay, suppose you are dealing with a large problem and you find that it's difficult for you to find out the solution for that entire problem. So what you will do, you will try to analyze that problem and you will just try to divide that entire problem into smaller sub problems, and based on your analysis you started making different functions or smaller modules for each and every of your problems. Okay, once you find out the solution of each and every sub problems, then finally what you can do is you can combine the solution of each and every smaller modules to make the solution for the large problem. Okay, so this is also called as divide and conquer approach. Now the last point is structured programming language is simple and easy to understand. Yes, so structured programming language is very simple. Okay, because the way the instructions are written, the way the code is organized in this structured programming language is very easy, is very simple and very easy to understand. Okay, so these are some of the points which we have discussed just to understand the concept of procedural programming language and structured programming language. Okay, so I hope now at the end of this video, I'm sure you guys have understood, or you guys have a clear-cut understanding about what is procedural programming language and structured programming language, and C is a procedural and a structured programming language. Okay, so that's all for the today's video, guys. If you guys like this video, if you guys have got some valuable information in this video, then I just request you guys to click on like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and if you guys have any queries, then let me know in the comment section, and in my next video I will be seeing you guys with some other topic. Okay, and thanks for watching.